Hola, y'all. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back, y'all. My name is Elle, and this is my perspective. If y'all can hear, there is a person honking a horn. It's like a vendor, one up and down the street. And somebody's on the corner playing Fergie. They have been out there all day playing like songs, like older songs, not new songs. But anyway, y'all, let's get to it. So getting my deposit back. Okay, so I ended my contract. It was the time to be done. And did I get my deposit back? Did I get the full amount? How did it go? That's what we talk about today. So when I moved into that condo back in January 2023, we'd had the notary had done up the contract and everything. I had my lawyer look it over. Everything was legit. And like I looked it over and had my lawyer look it over. Everything was legit. Now, in that contract, there were promissory notes. I had to sign 12 of them because it's a 12-month contract. So I signed all 12 promissory notes, basically saying I'm going to pay 10,000 pesos every single month. Those were given to the owner. Then there was a promissory note that the owner had to sign saying that I was going to get my deposit back. And so she signed that and I had possession of that. So every month, I would pay my rent in efectivo, which is in cash. And once I paid my rent in efectivo, at the same time, like I'm handing, well, no, actually, Due was nice. So she had a man that would come and collect the rent. And so he would hand me the paper and I would hand him the 10,000 pesos. And so we did that for all 12 months. Now, fast forward, it's time for me to move out and everything. And I gave her a date and time that worked for me, which was 3 o'clock. Okay. So 3 o'clock comes, y'all, she is fluent in Spanish and I am fluent in English, right? I was a little nervous about this here transaction because I felt like it was going to be long, right? And I told you it was 3 o'clock. She shows up with a translator. Oh my goodness, it was her friend, but still, I was glad because I didn't have to worry about, fumbling through and pulling out the app, right? Like I will pull out the app, but I like to try to figure out what you're saying, right? And so when they got there, the translator was like, okay, we're going to go through and look at the house now. So the same way that I would look at the house when I was trying to determine if I liked it or not, that's what they did. They went through all the rooms, turned on all the lights, turned on the AC. They did the whole thing, right? Looking to see if there was any damage. In the promissory note that I have that she signed, it says that she can go through and look to see if there's any damage. If there is, she has up to 15 days to not only do the repairs, but to have the receipts, right? And if she has the receipts of what type of damage was done and what repairs she needs to do, then that will come out of the deposit, right? So we got that kind of thing going on. So she had done all that. I will also tell you, like y'all know that I was packing in a way that I can get my stuff packed, but I also needed to like pack and leave a lot of stuff behind. So I arranged it in a way that I was like leaving it for the people who were coming after me, it is what it is. So I left some things behind, and y'all, the owner was cleaning up, like, because I had to leave my ring light. I left some stuff behind, right? It's cool. It's cool, yeah, it's cool. So I left those things behind, and I think that helped overlook anything that she might have been. So the only thing that was really wrong, that was like to me, um, the sun came in through the bathroom window, and the way that it came, it beamed down onto the light switch. And so the light switch started to swell and it cracked. I didn't do it. The light did, like the heat is doing it. And so after a while, that like bubbled out so much. And then you know how the heat can get something like uh flexible and then it gets cooled off and it's more rigid. And so it did end up like popping. And so I just put it on the counter because I'm like, oh, what do we do? Do we super glue this? Like I don't know. So it was there. The other thing was I had an aerator. It looked a little it looked a little foggy. That's what I'm gonna say. It looked a little foggy because I took that aerator off quite a few times to clean it, right? And sometimes I may have used some cleaner that was a little bit harsh, but I just needed to make sure that the aerator was clean. So, okay, but I left the aerator on because I took that off and I was going to put the little piece back for the faucet back on. but I couldn't get it off with just my hands, and I don't have any tools. So instead of me doing that, I was like, you know what? Who wouldn't like this aerator, right? So I left the aerator back, I put the aerator back on and put the so other than that, everything was cool. She said that everything was fine. We get back to the living room. I never left the living room. So we get back to the living room and she, meaning the owner, counts out 10,000 pesos and she hands me, so she counts out the 10,000 pesos, hands it to the translator. The translator had also counted out the 10,000 pesos. And then she handed it to me and then I counted out 10,000 pesos. So I'm making sure, we all making sure, all three of us made sure it was 10,000 pesos, right? So it's 10,000 pesos. And then the translator is looking at me like, okay, so we need to take out, I'm sorry, before they did that, they looked up the electric bill and the water bill. Neither one of those have come yet. We don't know how much they are. So she wanted to go off of the assumption of my electric bill being the same that it was last time around. Y'all know I was feeling some kind of way about that, but whatever. So that was the 1,200 pesos, which, you know, last time around, my mother was here, and so she was using the hot water, and we realized that the hot water is making my bill go higher. Ain't nobody being here but me. So that bill should have been way lower than the 1,200, but there's no proof. She didn't have any proof. And I'm like, you know what? It's 1,200 pesos. It is what it is. The water bill hadn't come. The water bill had been consistently 86 pesos. So she did the 86 pesos and she was like, okay, so $1,300 is what you will owe me. And I was like, okay, cool. So the 10,000, so that's when the 10,000 pesos, the owner counted out the 10,000 pesos, gave it to the translator counted the 10,000 pesos, gave it to me. I counted, make sure it was 10,000 pesos. So now, because I have the 10,000 pesos, it is where they are waiting for me to now pay the 1,300 pesos. I hope this is making sense. Nobody is saying anything, guys. Nobody is saying anything. We're all just standing there silently. And she's like, okay, so you're gonna do the 1,300 pesos? I was like, okay, so are we taking the 1,300 pesos out of the next 10,000 or what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? And so she was like, no, 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 you just get 10,000. I was like, no, 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 I get 20,000. And she was just like, what? I was like, yeah, my deposit was 20,000 pesos. And so they were like, no, it was 10. And so I went to go get the paper. Remember, it has her signature on it, guys. I get the paper and I was like, you see this right here? 20,000 pesos. So I was like, if you need me to wait, if you need me to wait, you gonna come back another day. Like, let me know what you need to do. I'll be here. And so they were like, no, no, I got your 10,000 pesos, your additional 10,000 pesos. So she counted out an additional 10,000 pesos. So yeah, she had 20,000 pesos. I got my 20,000 pesos, and then I was going to give the 1,300. I had 1,000 right off the bat because, of course, everything was in a certain increment of money. So I gave the 1,000, and then I was about to start digging to look for the 300 pesos. And she was like, no, 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 just give her another 500. She got you. She got you. And so I was like, okay. So I gave her the other 500. So I gave her a total of 1,000, 1,500 pesos. And then she gave me my change from there. And then we were good. I had my things already ready. They were going to help me to my car. I don't have a car. So I was like, let me call Uber. So yeah, I called Uber. And then right before the Uber came, they was like loading up that car with the goodies that I left behind. So Chloralex, I'm probably saying it wrong. They got the Chloralex, they got the bleach. No, that is the Cloralex, the ring light, and it was some other thing. I'm pretty sure she probably took both of those fans and maybe the mirror. Like it was a whole lot of stuff that I needed to leave behind. I don't know that she went for that cast iron skillet. Y'all know I love me some cast iron, right? So the cast iron skillet was there. There's a whole lot of stuff that I did leave behind that could totally be used by the next person. So yeah, that's what it is. Just remember when you are going in to get your contract signed at the beginning, not only do you want to have your promissory notes, I didn't have an issue with it because I knew I was going to be there for the entire 12 months. But then I had a promissory note that she owed me 20,000 pesos because I mean, just imagine what would have happened if I didn't have the promissory note. We could have got to the tail end and she could have been like, no, I only owe you 10,000 pesos. Here you go. It's 20,000. Or, you know, she could have just been like, I'm not giving you a deposit back at all. Like there was nothing in writing. There was nothing that held her responsible for giving me my 20,000 pesos back. So yeah. And then the other thing is when you have that piece of paper that has someone's signature on it, let's say that she was only willing to do 10,000 pesos and not 20,000 pesos, I wouldn't have been handing that paper over, right? Like not until I've been paid in full. And that is also why she did not take the 1,300 out of there because she needed to pay me in full first. And then once I was paid in full, then I can give her the paper because you did pay me in full. Here's the paper back. And then I gave the 1,500 and then she gave me the change. So there you go. Or else I got the change and stuff first, and then I gave her the paper. Something like that. But there you go. I got my deposit back. I did get the full amount. We'll say it was the full amount. She did take out the utilities, which haven't come yet. Typically, my electric bill comes on like the 23rd of each month, and we are not there. We are still at the beginning of the month. The water bill is like, y'all know how those water bill goes. So the water bill at that condo, they'll put it in that front gate. Let a strong wind come, let anything come. That stuff blows out of that gate and it's all on the floor, whipping around in circles and stuff. And somebody's gonna come through and pick it up. And then they'll put it on the gate that was by my unit. And then I would open the door and be like, oh, a stack of papers. And then you go through the stack of papers to find the bill that's yours. But it shows up anywhere from that bill will show up sometimes in that gate after it is due. Like, but it usually shows up around the middle of the month. But either way, I was not like my contract for being in that unit expired before either of those bills would have come. So yeah, that's what it is. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, leave it in the comment section below. Y'all already know if you got shenanigans, keep it to yourself. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, y'all, because I got some information. I have more information about Merida, Mexico, and about where I'm going next. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. All right, talk to y'all later. Bye, y'all.